Hi friends! I was browsing my games library and I asked myself, what is Barony? Barony came out on Steam June 23rd, 2015, so it's a little bit older. Developed and published by Turning Wheel LLC. Turning Wheel is a very small indie team based in Washington, and Barony appears to be their first game. While doing research for this review, I came across a GitHub of the members of Turning Wheel, and it would appear that Barony is open source. I picked this game up on Epic, as many others did. A successful Kickstarter was funded in 2020 to bring Barony to the Switch, but as of this video, it has not been released. Frequent updates are still being posted on that Kickstarter, so that's a good sign. So what is Barony? I'm sure many of you remember the game Rogue and the term roguelike, or roguelite. Barony IMO is as close to Rogue as it gets while having actual graphics and modern features. The game is 3D and has a nice, charming, chunky pixel art style to it, as you can see by the main menu. Let's jump into the game, and I'll show you what Barony is all about. Clicking Start Game will bring up the option to start a new game or continue one of our various save games. Let's see what it's like to start a new game. You can tell the developers have a deep love for the original game. The character creation is quite similar to Rogue. You begin by selecting your gender. If you have an expansion, you can select your race. Now comes your class. Each class has its own unique set of strengths and weaknesses. For instance, the warrior can dish out the damage but is unable to use magic at the start. The merchant can identify items quickly and has a small amount of magic, but if you get into too many fights, you'll find yourself restarting quickly. After you pick your class, you pick your appearance. Pyre Bloom is of course the best because you've got that sweet stash. And drop in your name. Curious George. What a great name. Now you get the chance to you pick your lobby. You can play single mode, host a multiplayer, join multiplayer, or IP direct multiplayer, and it can have up to 4 other players. The starting area is always the same. Hitting tab brings up your inventory, which is displayed at the top of the screen. Your reticle is displayed, as you can see, and you can click on items in the world to bring up a description. Top left of the screen, you can see our character and stats. Top right, our skills. All skills can be upgraded within the game just by using them or attempting to do something. The bottom of the screen, you can see our map, and that is updated by what we can see as we go along the way. Right click to activate levers and pick up items. Combat is very basic. Feels only slightly better than Minecraft. However, it's a vast update to the combat of the original Rogue, where you just bump into things to attack them. Each floor has a trapdoor located somewhere within the level to make your way down and progress through the dungeon. As you wander around and vanquish enemies, items will be dropped or found. Those items may or may not be cursed. All items are unidentified as you pick them up, and you automatically start to identify them. How long it takes to identify varies greatly and is dependent on how much the item is worth and your ability in appraisal. Items are appraised in a time versus gold formula. As you see here on the merchant, with an appraisal skill of 50, it takes 0.02 seconds for every gold piece the item is worth. You can appraise more expensive items the higher your skill gets. The humble warrior here has an appraisal skill of 0, which means it takes him 1.2 seconds per gold, and they can only appraise items worth 9 gold to start. You right-click to equip and hold right-click to appraise. If you accidentally equipped a cursed item, you cannot remove that item unless you have a curse removal scroll or a curse removal spell. So be careful, you might not be able to get rid of that shiny new helm that has a -2 curse on it for quite a while. There are many traps and interactable items you can find around the dungeon. Water fountains and wells can replenish your health or pour scalding hot water on you. You can interact with fires to gain torches. The ceilings and floors contain various traps and deadly things. I'd watch out for holes in the ceiling. Those are boulder traps. Unless you want to become dead and flat, I'd stay away. Now I've only made it down to about level 10, and that was co-op. Die, and it restarts the game. Back to the top you go to start another run. I believe that your score at the end of the game is partially based on what items you appraised and the items in your inventory that are not appraised. The team at Turning Wheel definitely show their love for Rogue with this deep and complex homage to the original. And now you know what Barony is. Let's take a look at the options menu. Standard resolution options. This game is definitely running on a custom engine, and the graphics are how they are. Not too many options on display here. Full screen on or off. Windowed full screen might have been nice to have. There's a colorblind mode, on or off. Didn't seem to make much difference when I checked it. Vertical sync on or off. And this borderless window? What is this? I'm not entirely sure it did anything when I clicked on it. full FOV slider, gamma correction, and frames per second limiter. There are separate audio sliders for everything and separate mute functions for when you're playing multiplayer and somebody's pinging the map too much. Full gamepad and keyboard rebinding, and a few MISC options to make things harder or easier. After you're done subscribing, go ahead and leave me a comment down below and let me know what your favorite roguelike is, if you like roguelikes and rogue and souls and stuff.